Ayubowan. Musical instruments is the topic for today. Right? අපි අද කරන්න යන්නේ සංගීත භාණ්ඩ ගැන. Now it's important because for your task 2 or part 2 in your speaking test, they could give you this topic, or sometimes even for part 1 it could come up. So it is important that you have a look at words around these topics, right? දැන් මේක speaking test එකේ part 2 නැත්නම් part 1 එකෙත් එන්න පුළුවන් හින්දා මේ වටා වචන ඉගෙන ගන්න එක වැදගත් වෙනවා, right? Okay, let's move on. Can you play any musical instruments or even a instrument? Do you like to learn a new one? Which instrument would that be? Can you play any musical instruments? Yes, I can play the piano. Would you like to learn a new one? Yes, I would like to learn. Yes. And I would like to learn to play the drum. Okay? So, you can think about these questions and answer it according to your preference, right? Can you play any musical instrument? සංගීත භාණ්ඩයක් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පාදනය කරන්න පුළුවන්ද? Do you like to learn a new one? අලුත් එකක් ගහන්න ඉගෙන ගන්න කැමතිද? එහෙමනම් මොන instrument එකද? දැන් මෙතන you can either say no. Do you like to learn a new one? No. කියන්නත් පුළුවන්, right? So here, can you play any musical instruments? It can be plural or it can be singular also, right? So you can say piano and flute or just one if it's one instrument, okay? So here you have 3 questions that you can answer. Hari? Guess the musical instruments. So here you have 8 pictures and I would like you to guess these instruments. Okay? Right, so I hope you have finished now and let us have a look at the answers. The first one is piano. Some people call it piano, right? But it's a piano. Next one is a guitar. Third picture is melodica. Fourth one is flute. Next one is mandolin. The next one is tambourine. This is quite famous even in playgroups, right? Maracas. And the last one here is the drum. Right, so let's have a look at the pronunciation now. The first one is piano. You have the mandolin, guitar, melodica, flute, tambourine, maracas. Some people call it maracas, some people call it maracas, right? Maracas. Drum. Okay? So you can see the picture, so I don't need to explain it to you, right? දැන් මෙතන ඔයගොල්ලන්ට වචනේත් එක්ක පින්තූරේ තියෙන හින්දා අලුතෙන් ඔයගොල්ලන්ට උගන්වන්න දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔයගොල්ලන්ට පින්තූරේ දැක්කහම දන්නවා මේක තමයි මේ කියන්නේ කියලා, right? Okay, so let's have a look at the next slide. Again, you have 8 pictures here. Can you guess what they are? Okay. මෙතන ආයි පින්තූර 8ක් තියෙනවා. ඉස්සෙල්ලක විදියටම මේකේ guess කරන්න මොනවද මේ musical instruments කියලා. Right? Right. So what is the first one? Accordion. Next one is cymbal. Next one, saxophone. We have bagpipe. We also have the violin. We have the sitar. We have the keyboard. And we also have the French horn. So I hope you have got them correct. This is an accordion, cymbal, saxophone, bagpipe, violin, sitar, keyboard, French horn. All right, so with that we can move on into our next activity. Playing music. Now here are some of the words that you would come across when you study about music, musical instruments or playing music. Okay? Traditional instruments. What do you mean by traditional instruments? It means what you use for developing or composing traditional music, right? So we have some traditional instruments like the flute, the drum. Even in drums we have yakbera, gatabera, right? We have the thamena. So you've got different types of drums, right? So those could be traditional instruments. To take up means when you want to compose, someone tells you, okay, would you like to do me a song, write a song for me or compose a song for me? You take up that job. To take up means you start doing it, okay? To read music, what do you mean by to read music? Do you listen to music or do you read music? What do you mean by this? Okay, to read music is that you should be able to actually read the notes in terms of music. To play by ear is that you listen to something and remembering the tune without the notes, you can play it on your own. Okay. Talented is that you have a natural inborn ability. To be musical is that you can come up with nice tunes and rhythms. Okay. Sense of accomplishment. When someone composes a song or when someone sings a song, right, using all of these rhythms, musical instruments and everything, right, if you do it well, you have a sense of accomplishment. Ha, I've done a good job. Okay. Vocals are the people who actually sing out. That is a vocalist. Okay. So the vocals are the lyrics, right? So let us have a look at the meanings in detail again. Traditional instruments. It's a type of instrument that has been played for many generations or that was popular in the past, and it is often unique to a country or region, right? So example like the ones that I told you before, or out of the ones that I showed you, you could even take the sitar, which is a traditional instrument which is played in India, right? දැන් අපි වචනවල තේරුම ගත්තොත් traditional instruments කියලා කියන්නේ යම් කිසි රටකට ආවේනික වූ instrument එකක්. සිතාරය ගත්තොත් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉන්දියාවට තමයි ඒක ආවේනික වෙන්නේ, right? To take up means to begin to learn something, okay? So as an example, you can write down, I'm going to take up the guitar. Okay, so take up the guitar doesn't mean that you're going to actually take it up in terms of an action, but it means that you're going to begin learning it. To read music is to understand the musical notes, right? I told you to play by ear is to play without reading the musical notes. To be talented is to be naturally skilled at something. To be musical is to have a skill in or great liking for music. Sense of accomplishment is when you've achieved something that you can be proud of, right? So say that you passed a music exam, you can say, I have a real sense of accomplishment for passing my music exam. Vocals is a part of piece of music that is sung. Okay, so my parents met, example, you can say my parents met in a band. Dad was a guitarist and mom sang vocals. So api baluwot traditional instruments man kiyala dunna mokadda kiyala. To take up kiyala kiyanne api yam kisi deyak igena ganna patan gannakota. To read music kiyanne ඇත්තටම music notes කියවන්න පුළුවන් වීම. To play by ear කියන්නේ යම් කිසි tune එකක් හෝ මොකක් හරි දෙයක් අහගෙන ඉඳලා තාලය අහගෙන ඉඳලා ඊට පස්සේ තමන් තනියම වාදනය කිරීම කිසිම note එකක් බලන්නේ නැතුව. Talented කියන්නේ උප්පත්තිය මෙන දක්ෂතාවයක්. To be musical කියන්නේ සංගීතයට බොහෝසෙන් කැමති වීම නැත්නම් සංගීතයත් එක්ක ඉන්න කෙනෙක්ට අපි කියනවා musical කියලා. Sense of accomplishment අපි music විභාගයක් හරි මොකක් හරි පාස් වුණාම අපිට තියෙන අපි කියන සතුටක්, a sense of accomplishment, right? Vocals කියලා කියන්නේ අපි ගායනා කරන කොටස, right? So my parents met in a band. අම්මයි තාත්තයි හම්බුනේ band එකේදී. This is just an example, okay? My dad was a guitarist. තාත්තා ගිටාර් වාදනය කරා and my mom sang the vocals. අම්මා තමයි ඒකේ කියන ටික කිව්වේ. Right? So basically, here are some of the words or phrases that would come across when you are having a look at playing music. Okay? Musicians. We've got a few words here. The first one is musician. Okay? Conductor. Guitarist. Keyboard player. Pianist, drummer, violinist, vocalist, choir, orchestra, band, group, composer, right? Now, what do these words actually mean? Okay, let us have a look at one by one. Musician is a person who plays a musical instrument, especially as a profession, right? So he or she could be playing the flute or something, right? But they do it as a profession, so they are known as musicians. Conductor is a person who leads the orchestra. Guitarist, someone who plays the guitar. Keyboard player, someone who plays the keyboard. Pianist, someone who plays the piano. Drummer is someone who plays drums. Violinist is someone who plays the violin. Vocalist is someone who actually sings. Choir is a group of singers singing together, right? So here, a lot of people, when they sing together, let's draw the smiley faces, right? When they are all singing together, a lot of people, when they are singing together, we call them a choir. Orchestra, a large group of musicians who play different instruments together and are being led by a conductor, okay? So when the orchestra is performing, you need a conductor to tell, okay, these people have to play these instruments, so he or she will conduct the orchestra. Band, a group of people who sing together and also play instruments. Group is a collection of people who sing together but do not necessarily play any instruments. Composer is a person who writes music, especially as a professional occupation. Okay, so example, you can say, my favorite classical composer is Mozart. Right, so we had a look at the meanings. We'll have a look at it in Sinhala. So musician කියලා කියන්නේ යම් කිසි වෘත්තියක් වශයෙන් මොන හරි instrument එකක් වාදනය කරන කෙනෙක්ට අපි කියනවා musician කියලා. Conductor කියන්නේ orchestra එකක්, group of people. Orchestra කියන්නේ group of people එක එක සංගීත භාණ්ඩ වාදනය කරනවා. ඉස්සරහා ඉඳගෙන මෙහෙම කරන යට නවත්තන්න කියනවා. ඊට පස්සේ මෙහෙම කරන එක්කෙනාට අපි කියන්නේ conductor කියලා. Bus කියලා වෙන conductor නෙවෙයි, right? So you know the bus එකේ තියෙනවනේ we have conductor, so that's not what I mean here. This person leads the orchestra, okay? Guitarist, guitar වාදනය කරන කෙනා. Keyboard player, keyboard වාදනය කරන කෙනා. Pianist, piano වාදනය කරන කෙනා. Drummer, drums ගහන කෙනා. Violinist, violin එක වාදනය කරන කෙනා. Vocalist කියන්නේ සින්දු කියන කෙනා. Choir කියලා කියන්නේ මිනිස්සු ගොඩක් එකතු වෙලා ගීත ගායනා කරනකොට අපි කියනවා choir එකක් කියලා. Orchestra එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ දැන් දන්නවා. Band එකක් කියන්නේ කට්ටියක් එකතු වෙලා orchestra එකක් ඊට වඩා ගොඩක් ලොකුයි. Band එකක් කියන්නේ ඊට වඩා ගොඩක් පොඩි. ටික දෙනෙක් එකතු වෙලා වාදනය කරනවා group එකකේ. හැබැයි group එකයි band එකයි අතර වෙනස තමයි group එකේදී instruments වාදනය කරන්නේ නැහැ. Right? කට්ටියක් එකතු වෙලා සින්දු කියනවා වෙන්න පුළුවන්. choir එකේ වෙනස තමයි choir එකක් වෘත්තියක් වශයෙන්ම කරන්නේ එක style එකක සින්දු ගොඩක් වෙලාට choirs. Composer කියන්නේ සින්දු ලියන කෙනෙක් නැත්නම් සංගීතය නිර්මාණය කරන කෙනෙක්. Right? Okay, so let us have a look at the pronunciation. Musician, conductor, guitarist, keyboard player, pianist, drummer, violinist, vocalist, choir, orchestra, band, group, composer. Right, so let us have a look at the next one. Match the words. මොකද අපිට කරන්න තියෙන්නේ මෙතන word එක match කරන්න ඕනේ බලාගෙන රූපෙට. So now you did this with me. What is this? Is this a pair of scissors? Eraser, no. Is it accordion? Yes, it is. This one here is a violin. This one here is maracas. Next one is tambourine, and finally we have the piano, right? So here we've got the guitar, the accordion, the violin, maracas, tambourine, and piano, right? So we had a look at a matching activity. Now let us have a look at the next one. Unscramble the words. So what are we supposed to do? As always, find the proper word, right? දැන් මෙතන හැමදාම වගේ unscramble කරන්න තියෙන්නේ. So it's all in caps letters, capital letters, right? So if you want, you can unscramble it as capital letters or simple letters. That's fine, okay? So first one is piano. So P-I-A-N-O, piano. Next one, guitar. Next one, flute. Next one, mandolin. Next one, drum. Right, so the next one is cymbal. All right. What are these? So again, you have a few minutes to look at it and write down what the answers are. Okay? So this one is sitar. This one is keyboard. Next one is melodica. Next one is bagpipe. Next one is violin. And the final one, you know what this is? French horn. Right, so here we have unscrambled the letters. Piano, guitar, flute, mandolin, drum, cymbal. And then we have sitar, keyboard, melodica, bagpipe, violin, and French horn. All right, so with that, we come to the end of the lesson, right? So what did we do, right? We had a look at musical instruments. We started off with a few questions. Then you had to guess it, okay? Then of course you had a matching activity. You learned some new words and you had to unscramble the words as well, right? So with that, we have come to the end of the lesson, which was all about musical instruments.